invested in a Rode mic, so a really good mic, and I ordered it online, this flat pack. It's like a dead room. It's like a dead box.
Right.
So it's like a meter cubed with the one side open, which I put
Hmm.
over my stand-up desk. So that, and then
Right.
I hung a
A
duvet behind
curtain.
me. Yeah, so
Okay.
I kind of created a dead, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I remember there'd be a moment in every morning when the heating would turn on, and you'd hear this tick 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 tick, 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 and it would just pick up fucking.
Right. It picks up everything, and it's one of this is the type of mic where if you're an audio person and you really want to sit down and watch the bouncing and catch all the ums and the clicks. And I used to do that, but it is a very tedious job. And so
Yeah,
I was like, I just for something like this or anything else that I'm doing lately, I don't need that level of professionalism
no.
with what I'm putting out. So I was like, if it served the purpose, it had a time and a place, and now I just don't use. But it's so expensive that I'm like, I'm not putting it
Yeah.
away. Like
No,
this
no,
was
I've
an
got mine now.
expensive rig. This was an expensive rig to get
Yeah,
over several years. So
yeah.
who knows, where I'll be in a decade from now, and maybe I'll dust it off and use it.
Yeah, and I think because that's what I found. Like if I write an obsessive diary poem, something little, it come and goes. I just use voice memo mic, like it's so rubbish, like because it comes through, on an automatic RSS feed. So sometimes I'm in the car and I'm listening to a podcast, and the podcast will end, and then I'll come on suddenly, just like, what the hell? And obviously, and the drop in quality is like, oh dear. But
Yeah, you can
the,
tell.
you completely tell, but it doesn't. I always think with this kind of like those sort of things, like the obsessive diary things, they come, they go, nobody cares. Whereas
Right.
obviously, because I've got a novel lined up to serialize, which I want to record the audios as well for. So then I'll go back to my dead box.
Yeah,
But
if I were to record an audio of something like that, like if I was recording my 100 word stories or
yeah,
any sort of fiction, I would probably lean towards the professional mic. I'd have to figure out how to hang things around my desk so that I can enclose myself and all that. I would do that, for sure. Like I wouldn't just do this to just
no
read an
way, because it's
audiobook,
too.
but
Yeah, because but would you also um clean up all the bumps and scratches if you were
I would,
doing?
yeah,
You
yeah.
would do that,
I
but you know
use
how to do that, right? I don't even know how to do that.
I
What do
want
you
to say I
use?
use Audition. I think that's
Okay,
the Adobe
okay.
audio. I think it's called Audition. I think that's what I use. It's been so
Is that the
long.
same? Okay, is that the same as GarageBand? Is that the same kind of?
Yeah, yeah.
It is.
It's just a bit more professional because it's an Adobe software
Okay.
application, so it's just a step up.
Okay, that's way beyond my pay grade. So is that your other professional life? Producing, recording audios, that kind of.
Um, no, you mean do I do that professionally?
Yeah, yeah. Like,
No, I
because
just learned.
the work paid.
I taught
w-
myself how to do it. My work paid for the headset just because I work from home. And so they give us a
Okay.
tech budget where any tech stuff that we need while we're working from home. And I needed a headset just so I could have my hands free to type while I'm working. And I'm in
Okay.
meetings. So that's my job paid for it. But this whole mic stand, every time I actually go on a call for work for my paying job and they see this stuff, they're always like,
Yeah.
what do you do? Like, because
Yeah.
they know that I do my job, but they're always like, they always ask, do you have a podcast? And at the time, years ago, I would say, yes, I did have a podcast, because that's obviously, if you've got a mic like this, that's like the one thing people assume you must have a podcast.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I've been podcasting for decades, doing different things, with different podcasts, political, fiction, um, anything like whatever I did gaming for a long time, and I was on Twitch and all of that stuff. So I taught myself how to use it because I
Yeah.
had access to it. I I'm so sorry. I was sick last week,
Don't worry.
but what lingers is my
No, poor
cough.
you.
The cough always lingers. I had a high fever, but I'm fine. I feel fine. I'm like, yay. But the one thing that
Okay.
never leaves is the cough. So I have like my lozenge, I have my inhaler, I have my water. Like I have everything to keep me as good as I can and not
Okay.
cough during this interview. But oh god, okay. So yeah, so I taught myself how to use all this stuff because I watched YouTube, and so I was like, I think I could learn how to use Audition,
Yeah.
and I had access to the whole fleet of Adobe programs. So I taught myself Photoshop, and I taught myself, InDesign was the biggest one because I wanted to self-publish. So I had to learn how to format my own book. And so that's my favorite part. Like if I had to pick
Is
my
it?
favorite thing of the whole Adobe suite, do I like creating artwork? No. So do I know how to use Photoshop? Yes. Whatever. Do I know how to use Audition so that I can clean up my audio? Yes. Do I know how to use Premiere so that I could clean up my video if I record? Yes. But the one that I gear towards, and that's because I'm a writer, is InDesign, and I want to, I love formatting a book. Like that's so
Wow. You're
cool.
the first person I've ever heard say that. God.
Now I
What do
hate
you love
using
about
Scrivener, but I love the formatting part
Scrivener?
of InDesign.
Okay. What do you love? What specifically do you love about formatting?
I love seeing it finished and seeing it come together. I love when I start with the full title page and then I move on to the copyright page and I'm designing the half title page. And I love learning what each part is, right? Like the immediately when I'm going to do my own book, the first thing I do is pull several books off the shelves and I analyze the front matter and the back matter. Where do they put the page number? Why is it down on the bottom center, top right? What are they putting in as the headers of every page? Are they doing that? Um, like those little things that people probably don't notice, the gutter, the widows and
Yep.
orphans, the all the
Yep.
do I use a hyphen? Do I not use a hyphen? How far down does the chapter start? Is it a chapter heading? Is it a chapter title? What font do they use? The fonts are the biggest one. Like I'm constantly looking at what's the best font size, the spacing between the lines, the how far do you indent, all of that. Like I'm justification versus left and right justified, and like I'm all over it. Like that's where
Yeah.
um that's I just love it. And I've actually been formatting a book right now because we're Tiff Press is about to publish its first anthology. So
Wow.
and I'm
Congratulations.
almost done
Jeez.
with that, and I'm gonna order the proof copy this weekend
Wow.
and get that in so that I can get that uh, done and move on to the next thing, which is really a thing I'm working on at the same time. But um, I love it.
Okay. Just before I've got other questions, but what's your favorite font? Which one do you go for?
I usually go for like a Garamond. Is
I love a
usually
Garamond.
that's the one that it's not too bad on the eyes. It's a good size. All the letters are legible because I hate when there's like one letter that you question, is that a G? Is it not a G?
Yeah.
Like, like I want to
Yeah.
make sure all the letters are clear no matter what the size, big or small. And I also like to keep the same font. So sometimes people will
Yeah.
use a different font for the chapter heading than for the
Mm-mm.
actual work, or they'll use a different font for, let's say, the title page, definitely into like if I'm using a font, I'm using it
Mm.
throughout. If I ever
Me too.
change the
Throughout.
font, it's because I want you to notice something. There's a reason why the font is now very different for whatever that reason is.
Okay. Within like sort of for storytelling purposes rather than anything else. Right.
Right. The only change I
Yeah.
would make is if it's bold. Like how bold is it? Which is another reason why I like Garamond because it gives you several levels of bold. It's not just
Yeah.
regular bold. It's got medium bold. It's got heavy. It's got black. It's got all the many levels.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I like Garamond because for all the reasons you just said, and it's not like it's not shouting, look at me. It's doing its job. It's being clear about his job. It's not shouting, look at me. Like there are other fonts which are kind of pretty, but they make me like typewriter. I love it, but I can't really concentrate on the words because the actual font is giving me a story in and of
Mhm.
itself. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Garamond is just, it's like a really elegant workhorse.
Right.
It just does the job. Yeah, nice. So tell me about the anthology. That how many contributors have you got, and how long have you been putting it together, and where can people buy
Oh,
it, and all
oh,
that jazz?
well, it's not available for purchase yet because I'm
Okay.
I wanted it to be ready by March 13th. I wanted to have the pre-order by February 13th. I actually wanted it to be ready for Friday the 13th, which was next week. That didn't happen. I got very sick at the end of the year and
Okay.
everything got pushed. And then I was like, okay, let's do March 13th because that's also a Friday the 13th. But
Oh,
it takes a long time for a proof copy to come in the mail. Like people need to understand the timeline of things. It's not as fast as you might
yeah.
think. So whenever people say like traditional publishing takes years, I'm sitting here putting together an anthology and I'm like, well, I mean, it could happen. Because this
Yeah.
started last summer, I believe, was when I had the idea for the anthology, which is the ICU anthology. And I believe, because it's been so long, it was June that the event took place because I think last year, Friday the 13th was in June.
Okay.
And it was an event slash contest type of thing where I had judges. So if you could enter the contest, or you could just write a story that had to do with eyes and being watched, or you watching, or someone watching you, however you interpreted that. So it was EYE, ICU, not the letter I. Um,
Okay.
and so we had, I want to say like maybe 30 people enter the contest or participate.
Yeah.
And then when it ended, I chose with along with the judges who were the best to be in the anthology because I didn't want to have an anthology with 30 plus stories in it. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Um, and we narrowed it down, and right now there are 18 stories in it. Um, and yeah, so it's gonna be great. It took a really, really long time because wrangling people is not easy.
No.
And at the same time that I was wrangling the 18 for the anthology, I was wrangling the 40 plus for the TIFF Summit. And
Yeah.
I was wrangling also the other anthology people because there's another anthology coming on the heels of this one that also happened last year, and that one has a bit more people in it. I believe it's, 27 or 28. So,
Wow.
I'm wrangling, like, close to 100 people. Some of them might be crossovers, but it's almost that many. Sending emails, communicating, sending DMs, getting information, getting contracts out, getting them signed, that's the first step. So, the first step you would think would be the contest and getting the stories, yes, but the main one is then inviting people to be in the anthology and then sending them a contract because this isn't something where I intend to do this and not pay the writers what they're worth. And while I can't pay for, a story to be in there, like to pay like several hundred or thousands just to have the story in the anthology, I want to be able to give them royalties from sales.
Yeah.
So contracts had to be drawn up, all of that had to be sent out. Then it comes back to me, I sign it, and then I send them the completed contract. Working with the cover artist, AC Sanders, who's amazing, who did the cover for us. That was, to her credit, very patient with me on how long that took. Um, then formatting the book, that all had to come together. In the middle of that, they had the option to edit, update, extend, change, do whatever to the work that they originally submitted last summer. So getting their updates, editing all that to put in the book. Um, so the fact that we're doing this in 9 months is, I guess that's pretty fast, but it felt like it was taking it still feels like it's taking a really long time. And I wish I could move faster. But having a 4-year-old means that I have 2 weeks of health and 6 weeks of sickness, and then 2 weeks of health, and then I'm sick for 6 weeks, and then I'm healthy for 2 weeks. So, so it's like a constant, like, and my family's always teasing me. They're saying, "When can we come see you? Because you're every time we call you, you're like just getting sick or just getting healthy. Where are you on the spectrum right now?" I'm like, "Well, I'm in the in between. I'm in the upside down, like in Stranger Things. I don't know. Like I feel healthy, but I don't sound it because I have this cough that I just can't shirk."
Yeah. I remember when my kids began like any sort of public like daycare, as soon as they were out in the world, I was exactly in that cycle. This not
You just can't
this
keep up.
you
You can't keep up.
cannot keep up. I
You
know.
think you're taking all the vitamins and the
Yeah.
supplements and you're
Yeah.
washing your hands and you're using this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And our immune system, as old as we are, is not as strong. Like he's fine. You
Right.
would think because me and my wife are deathly sick right now, like deathly coughing with the whole bit. He's running around like nothing.
Like whatever. Do you and your wife get sick at the same time or do you tag team on that as well?
We
Do you know what I
usually
mean?
tag team. And I'm usually the last one. He gets
Okay.
sick first, he gets her sick. And then when both of them are healthy, that's when I finally end up getting sick. This is the first time where I got sick before she did. Um, but I think I'm getting sick because they were both sick over Christmas.
Yeah.
And so I think this is me getting sick from them now being healthy from that. So it just takes me a while to get it. Um, but it is what it is. But anyway, yeah, so the anthology will be out. I am hoping to do March 13th still, but because it takes 1 to 2 weeks, at most 2 weeks for the proof copy to come in the mail, I am nervous about putting a pre-order up for March 13th. I get the proof copy and from experience, there's always something you wanna fix when you get the
Yeah.
proof copy. And so I'm just not willing, with it being February 7th, 2 weeks is the 21st. I get it, I have to make changes, and then by the time the next proof copy comes to me, do I have time? Like,
Yeah. And
and
who
then I
does
don't
your
have any pre-order time as well if I do it that way. It's like the pre-order time is
yeah.
shrinks when I do that, so I don't know.
And are each of the writers responsible for their line edit, or do you have an outside line edit?
I'm doing, I'm looking through it, and then, they are responsible for their own, just because, again, I appreciate the kindness of others willing to help, but I also appreciate that time is money. And so while I have had people come to me and offer to help in that way as editing, et cetera, for nothing,
Yeah.
I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to accept that help. And I don't know if that's stupid or naive or what it is about that, but um if I can pay something, I want to pay something. I don't want I don't want the it's so crazy to say I don't want the kindness of strangers, but
Yeah.
because I know what it's like. I see the Substack notes. I see people always complaining about how we're not getting paid for our work. We're not getting the recognition for what we do. And right now, I know that all I have to give is recognition of I've got 2,000 subscribers. So yes, if you help me do something, I can push that out to my 2,000 subscribers. But to me, that's not financially viable. Um,
Mm.
and so what I have right now to offer writers in an anthology is giving them a royalty split.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that that it incentivizes them when this does come out to do a lot of the promoting with me, because they know that if they promote and get people to buy it and we make more sales, then we make more royalty, then the split between 18 writers is bigger, right? I mean, it
Yeah,
makes
yeah, yeah,
sense.
it's
So,
just maths. Yeah.
but how, I can't offer the same kind of royalty split I feel to an editor,
No.
or
Okay.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah.
because I know that an editor needs the entire fee, the entire cost, the entire thing up front. So I'm hoping to get Top and Fiction and TIFF Press to a place where it is earning and making enough where I can do royalty splits for writers, but then be earning and making money over here where I can hire an editor, where I can
Yeah.
hire an artist to do the cover. And I don't feel bad taking something from someone who'd put a lot of work into it and I don't have any financial backing to give them.
So is it just in that when somebody offers to do it for free, does it just not feel like solid ground, or is it that you just feel bad, or is it a combination of both of those things?
I feel bad. I don't wanna feel like I'm taking advantage of
Okay.
someone's amazing skill.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I know that a lot of the people who sometimes will offer that, that is what they're doing for a living.
Yeah.
It's one thing for me, I don't what I'm doing on Substack, what I'm doing on my Substack on Top and Fiction on TIFF Press, I don't do that for a living. That's not
No.
how I pay my bills.
Yeah.
I am fortunate enough to have a really good paying job that pays me 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, that I work from home, and I have been for since COVID. Um, and they are, thank God, oblivious to the fact that I do spend most of my day doing Substack, Top and Fiction, and TIFF Press, but I am able to do that. Like, I am
Yeah.
really
Right.
good at my job. I've been doing it
Yeah.
now for 15 years. I'm an exemplary employee, I get raises all the time, so I'm able to do this stuff because I have the financial backing to be able to do it, pay the mortgage, pay the bills, do all the things. But I realize a lot of the time when an editor comes to me saying, "I'd love to help you," or when a book designer comes to me and says, "I would love to help you," that is their living. That is how they pay
Okay.
their bills. And I am not willing to have them spend salaried hours that they would normally charge someone else to do work for me that I can't then compensate.
Okay.
Now,
It just doesn't feel.
if I knew that they were an accountant somewhere and they were
Yeah.
just doing this as a hobby thing and they're really good at it, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That's such an
You know
interesting
what I mean?
distinction. Yeah. Yeah. No,
There's a
I
difference.
see it. Yeah. I see the difference. I'd never thought about it, but I see the difference
Yeah.
because because if it's their paid job, it just doesn't feel honorable
Right.
to ask you for free.
Because they're
Okay.
doing something for me means that, that could be a $500, $1,000, $1,500
Yeah.
thing that they just did for me for nothing. And now they have to pick up an extra job, an extra assignment. They have to, work extra hours to to accommodate the fact that they just did something for me. So they need to make up that time with someone else who is going to pay so that they can recoup the hours that they, you know, volunteered to me. I am very aware of that. And so while sometimes the part of me that feels bad is the part where I say no because I don't want them to think I said no because I don't like their work or because you know what I mean? So I always
Sure.
try to explain why I'm saying no. It's not because I don't think you're an amazing, wonderful person that's offering this and I'm so grateful. It's because I can't pay you, and if I can't pay you, it's not right. And
Sure.
if I want to say that people deserve to be paid for the work that they do, I need to lead by example. I can't say that this, you know, digital magazine that just popped up and is looking very shady because they're not paying their writers or there's something weird in the contracts is looking weird. And then I'm doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Like I have to be able to say that this is how it should be. And so the only way I can do it beyond just saying this is how it should be is doing it the way I feel it should be done.
Sure.
And hoping that I'm leading by some example that, you know, if you want to hire S.E. Reed, if you want to hire, Shane to Bizdak to do your cover art, if you want to get these people, you have to be able to pay them. And if you can't pay them, and I always tell them, listen, you guys, the second I have the financial ability to do it, you're the first person I'm coming to
Mm.
hire.
Yeah.
Like it's no right now. I appreciate the offer to help me in the ways that you want to help me, but the moment I can pay you, let's do it.
That's so honorable. It's so clear. I mean, it's like there's an honorable clarity to that in my head
Right.
as you speak.
Right. And part of me, and I know that other people who are in my shoes are, I don't want to say upset or annoyed or angry about the sentiment that I have, because I know, and probably and a lot of other people know, that there are people out there who don't have the same sentiment that I have, who don't have the same moral ideas and thinking that I have. And they're making money. They're doing whatever hustle they're doing. And does it grind my gears to see it? Yeah. Because it's like I'm over here making nothing, earning nothing, doing the most, and they're over there pulling some pyramid scheme situation thing, and
Yeah.
and I'm gonna say it pisses me off, and I wish that that wasn't the case, and I wish that people were a bit smarter as to where they put their money and what they did with it. You know, I can't control that, but I can control what I have. I can control what I'm building. And hopefully people will come, people will see it, people will appreciate it. And I'm starting to turn the levers for people to be able to pay if they want to pay and support, if they want to support in a financial way, which I didn't do when I started. And most people do right away the moment they start something. They got the cash grab up and they're ready to go. I took I said, I'm going to wait. I want to prove it. I want to prove that I'm doing something right before I start saying, you know, give me your money. Like we've been doing this for 18 months, going on 2 years. I said, okay, I'm going to turn on the lever. Let's see if people will support, and let's see if we can make some money so that I can start actually hiring and paying people outside of the writers, because right now the writers are the only ones I can pay. And when I say that, it's I can pay because it's based on royalties right now.
Yeah.
Would I love to be able to pay for a story outright and put it on Top and Fiction? Yes, and that is a goal, and I have that as a goal. I've told people, if I get 10 paid subscribers monthly, I will pay for one monthly story on our Top and Fiction. I will pay that writer from the proceeds of those 10 monthly subscribers, and every month I'll, pay a writer. Is it a lot of money? No, but it's a start. I got to start somewhere. I'm constantly thinking about different ways to
Yeah.
I've got so many ideas up here, Eleanor. It's like,
Yeah.
I think that's why I get so
Definitely.
sick, is because I've got so much. My body
Yeah.
can't keep up.
I know. I mean, when I think about you and I think about your output and I look at your site, that's what I think about you. I just see this. I see this person with just like bang, bang, ping, ting, all right. And then you put them into I mean, you probably only put like a 10% of them into action, but you put a lot
Correct.
into action. Yeah.
I do, which people don't even realize. And it's crazy when you say that, but it's true.
Mm.
I am like the iceberg where I'm only showing you the tip of
Yeah.
everything that I put out. But if
Yeah.
you looked at my desktop, which I have to have two 32-inch monitors to encompass what I need to have open to live my life day to day. And I literally have my desk set up so that when I'm working, one monitor has my PC for work, and the other monitor has my Mac for everything else. And I've got my work computer with my spreadsheets and everything, emails, everything, Teams open. And then I've got the other one with Substack and Discord and all the windows I need open. And I am working off both at the same time, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. I'm switching. I'm doing something here. I'm doing something on this monitor. Today I'm with you. I've got both monitors on for Substack and Eleanor. I've got any note you might ask me. Like I've got, I preemptively. Oh, I actually started planning like a crazy person. I'm sitting here 10 minutes before we're about to go live,
Yeah.
and what am I working on? My
Yeah.
March, the book that I'm going to be reading in March.
Yeah.
And I'm only on February 7th. And I don't know why my brain said, okay, you're reading Murder on the Orient Express in March. There are
Mm.
3 versions, that adaptations that were done. Let's look them up on IMDb. Wait, let's go to Amazon and see if there's a special edition, and let's buy the special edition. Wait, let's go. And that's where, and so I just
Wow.
started tab, 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 tab. And I'm just like, okay, let's create a graphic for this now. Let's pull some images. Let's create a graphic. And that's what I was doing 10 minutes before we're going live. My brain just said, let's look at what we're reading in March, even though it's only
Yeah.
February 7th, and you should be thinking about what you're reading this month.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't stop. Like, I'm just go. Like, just go. Like, just do it. Just open the window. Just start the thing. Don't even think about it. Just do it.
Is it really wild exciting in your brain? Like the
It
experience of
is.
having a brain like that?
It is, and it's a blessing and a curse because
Yeah.
it's great that I have so many ideas. I love it. I
Yeah.
love having ideas. The curse is when the idea doesn't go anywhere because I'm sitting here surrounded by ideas that I can't get off the ground. And
Okay.
that's exhausting. It's exhausting to be surrounded by what I think are just amazing ideas. And so I've gotten to the point, and I think I started doing this like last week. I'm just putting my ideas on my Substack notes. You know what I mean? Because
Okay.
I can't hold them anymore. Like
Yeah.
I keep them, they're in here, and I'm like, "You know
Mhm.
what? I just whatever. This is an idea, you guys, and I don't know if it's good or not. I might never write it, but here you go. Figure it out." You know, like the other day, I think it might have been
Mhm.
yesterday. I don't know why. I was thinking of Murder on the Orient Express. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm not reading it till next month. I don't know why. And then all of a sudden, I started thinking about how that was an enclosed mystery on a train. And then my brain said, oh, that's just like, and then there were none where it's a group of people trapped on an island in a mansion, but it's on a train. But everyone dies in one and everyone kills one person in the other. What if you combine those two somehow? And my brain was just like going off, and I just started writing it
Mhm.
down, and I said, okay, I'm writing this down in a note. It's gonna go nowhere. I'm just gonna move on with my life. So I just highlighted it all, copied it, pasted it into a Substack note, said, here, throw it into the void and see if someone else sees that and thinks that's mildly interesting. Um, because I constantly have those ideas. Like, I didn't know if you were going to ask me about my tarot collection that I have behind me, but I said, in case she does, I'm going to, because I have 45, I think I counted. That was something else I did randomly yesterday. I decided to pull out my master tracker. I track everything on a spreadsheet. I have too many spreadsheets. I have too many formulas in my head. And it's because that's what I do for a living. I do
Yeah.
accounting, finance. So spreadsheets is my life. And I wanted to see how many do I have. And by my count on my list, I have about 45-ish. So I can't show you 45. So I pulled out 5. But the one I want to show, because it's such a good idea, Eleanor, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
Okay. Shit.
There's this guy named Todd Alcott. He's on Instagram, and I follow him. He's very strongly opinionated on politics, Todd Alcott, but he's an amazing, amazing artist. And he did these 3 decks, which I can't help myself. I bought all 3. So there's one that's horror, which is the one that I'm most
Wait,
interested
I'm gonna
in.
put my glasses on. Go on.
There's one that's sci-fi, and these are tarot decks, okay? I'm gonna show you what's unique about them. And then the other one is pulp, so pulp fiction.
Pulp
And so
Fiction.
what he
Oh,
did was
wow.
he took old school and I don't wanna, point out your age, but you probably are more familiar with the
You can point it
covers,
out. You can go ahead.
with the cover artistry, but he took covers of, like, pulp fiction
Yeah,
art, the way they looked on magazines where they would be like a penny and stuff and you would buy, and he made
yeah.
these amazing cards, but what's so interesting about the horror deck, and I've been meaning to actually reach out to him and ask if he even minded if I did this because he went ahead and did this himself, but with the horror deck, and it's the book is so tiny, but he wrote a short, like, world around the deck where literally the, he called it the Horror Tarot Studios, so that the major arcana are based on movie films that he created, like, he invented them, so they're not real
Can you
movie
hold some
films.
car? Can you hold
So
car?
so, like, the Fool
Okay.
so the Fool
Okay.
is a movie poster, and he
Yeah.
has down here, like, the writer, direct like, it's made up. So it's made up people, made up directors, but he went and he put, like, The Magician, another movie that's like a universal picture, and it's just like
Beautiful.
but
Wow.
he wrote, like, one little paragraph, and I'm just looking at this like, how amazing would it be to take each one and they're
Yep.
like a mystery. They're like a horror mystery, each one. There's
Yep.
behind the scenes of, like, this is, like, the director's final film, and what does it say about him, and, this the
And
actress,
is the artwork completely original as well? Has he
yeah.
lifted that from me? No, he's done. So the
No.
whole thing is
Yeah.
original.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just like, I just don't understand the mind of and every single card, like, you could see this one is, The Exorcist, but
Yeah.
look at the way he drew her.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's just so amazing, and each one is its own little story, and in this little like, I've been actually carrying around because I like to take things I carry things around with me in the house, uh,
Yeah.
because it kind of forces me to know what I should be doing, so this stays in my pocket all day. Like, I just
Mhm.
it's the instruction
Oh,
book
that's the
for the
instruction
horror
book.
ta
Okay.
right,
Okay.
and the reason why I carry it around is because he literally wrote like, it's so small, but he
Yeah.
wrote, like, the whole history behind the Horror Tarot Studios. It tells you it was from 1917 and all the filmmakers, and
But he's
it's this whole
completely made
but
that up.
he's completely it's not real, it's fiction, but each
Wow.
card for each card and
Wow.
each thing, and I'm just like my mind was blown, and I said, "This is what I wanna do with tarot." Like, this is a dream and vision of mine, was to be able because I was doing it with the 100-word stories, right? But I was
Yeah.
just writing 100 words with the tarot cards as an inspiration, but I wanted to make the tarot cards the story, right? And that's
Okay.
literally what he did with this deck. And when I saw that, I was just like, "Okay, it's possible." I don't know what to do
Yeah.
with that. Like, do I use his deck or do I, like, see if I could make my own deck? I have no idea. No idea. But it's but it's there and it stays with me in my pocket, and one day I'm just gonna do something with it. I don't know when. Um
Okay, because so when you came across that, you'd already been you were already on that track. And
Right.
then
Like, I only came
he
across.
realized something that you'd been like, had you formulated it in your mind, or was it seeing them that it
No,
suddenly was
I
like,
had
okay,
no, I had formed like, that's why I even started using the tarot with my 100-word stories years ago. Because I didn't have enough inspiration, like, there's only so many 100-word stories you can write,
yeah, yeah, okay,
and we're talking about 1,000 days that I did.
yeah, I
I
know,
needed a lot I needed a lot of help. Like, they did not come together out of nowhere,
yeah,
and so I used the tarot decks that I had behind me. That's why I started collecting them. This
There's
deck
all
I only
tarot decks behind you now that I'm looking at. Are they all
um
tarot decks behind you?
the majority of them,
Excuse
yeah.
me. Wow.
The
Have
majority
you
of them.
shown this to Sally? Have you talked tarot decks with Sally Reid?
I have not, but I will say
She's
after
completely same.
after
She should
watching
be in both
after
hers.
after watching
Yeah.
hers, I bought it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I just
Beautiful.
got this like a week ago because when I saw you guys talking about it and she
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
which one was her favorite, I immediately went and I bought it.
Okay. So so let's take this right to its zenith. Do you want to make your own tarot deck?
I think
Let's be
so. I
honest.
think right, because while I love the idea that he did and this is exactly what I want to do,
Yeah.
I don't think I want to do it with someone else's deck and someone else's story
Yeah.
about film and, you know, that sort of thing. But it tells me that it can be done,
Yeah.
is what it says.
And to that level of detail, that's what's so beautiful is like the detail he has gone into it
Right.
is
It's crazy.
it's crazy. And and this is the when you get that pure artist, which you are as well, when it's just like he's not thinking of the practicalities of this, like how am I going to sell it and how am I
Right.
going to he's just like, I am obsessed with this idea. I'm going to
Right.
take it,
And
run
and
with
the
it.
part about this that sucks is I am not an artist. So while I can probably come up with my own deck in my mind
Yeah.
to then make it is a whole other story. So
Okay.
that might be one of the hangups is I would be able to like write down how I visualize, the Fool card looks. But could I make it look like that? No.
No.
But could I write the story behind it? Sure. So, it could be something where again, years from now, I have this, I find, an artist somewhere who, has a style that I like and I show them, I wrote down this crazy tarot deck idea and all of the cards are written like I wrote down what they look like. You think you could take that and make it look like something? Make it look like a
Yeah.
card? I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
but like my mind is constantly moving and right now, I've been saying a lot about Agatha Christie. That's because I'm like literally living in that space because I'm going to write a murder mystery. It has to happen.
Mm. Mm.
It's my one genre that I think I actually love more than horror. I lean very horror, but I live in mystery. Like that is my space. That is my comfort space. That is my happy space. It's cozy mystery, it's Agatha Christie mystery, it's Sherlock Holmes mystery, but that is like I watch it on TV all day, I read it all the time, and when I started writing fiction many decades ago, I would always come up with an idea for a murder mystery, but I never did anything with it because my weird idealistic mind back then would always say, I'm not going to indulge in my favorite genre until I can make enough money to live off my writing from this genre that I'm going to write instead. And this genre that I'm going to write instead was typically YA fantasy type, because this was like, let's say 20 years ago. So back then, for me, that was what was selling. That's what was hot. YA fiction. A lot of adults were reading YA fantasy. So in my mind, I had to write the next Hunger Games or Harry Potter or something like that. And so I said, I'm going to come up with that and I'm going to make millions off of that. And then when I become somebody, then I will allow myself to write what I've always really wanted to write, which is the murder mystery over here. And so I have so many murder mystery ideas that I've never shared with anyone, never talked about with anyone. They're just back there collecting cobwebs. But after writing 100-word stories for 1,000 days, I realized I deserve to do something for me, which sounds silly because I did the 1,000 days for me, right? Like, who else did I do that for but for me? Towards the end, it didn't feel like it was for me. It felt like it was for everybody else who was watching and seeing this come together and seeing this hit 1,000. And so it wasn't fun anymore.
Mm,
And I would say this is crazy to say because when I say this number and you quantify this into days, you realize this is a crazy thing for me to say. But the last 250 were not fun.
mm,
And that's 250 days of me writing 100-word stories that were not fun. And it was probably more than that. It might have even been the last 500. I'm not really sure where it stopped being fun and started being a chore. It started being an anchor of like, oh my God, it's 11 o'clock at night. I have to write this story before midnight in order to keep up my consecutive days. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I finally said to myself, why am I writing for the market?
yeah,
Which is what my mindset was 20 years ago.
mhm,
Just write for me. What does Erica want to write? Erica wants to be the next Agatha Christie and write an Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot style novel. So let's do it. Let's do it.
looking looking back at that decision 20 years ago, even though like it could be argued that it was 100% a practical decision, in
Right.
truth, was there a little bit in there that was was like a personal, like not giving yourself the juice because, well, for whatever reason, you can tell me.
Honestly, I think back then, I didn't think I could write a murder mystery, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
I was only, 20.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't think 20-year-olds were writing murder mysteries.
Mm,
When I look at the people, the mystery writers that I was reading, unfortunately, they were old and dead, right? I wasn't reading many living mystery writers to know
sure.
if they were in their 20s like me. I didn't
Yeah.
assume that they were. I assumed that that was something you did when you were in your retirement, your waning years. Like, okay, you did all the hot and juicy marketable writing, and now you're just going to kick back and write the murder mystery series that people are going to read 100 years from now. Like that, I thought that was, when you look at the corporate ladder, I thought that was the corporate ladder for anyone who wanted to write a murder mystery. Is you had to start at the bottom, and the bottom was writing a fantasy 100,000 word whatever. So, do I regret that decision? No, because it taught me that I could write a
Yeah.
series, which I did. So,
Mm.
and it taught me that I can write one very quickly. Um, was it very good? Probably not. But that wasn't the point. The point was that I did have fun. I met a lot of people. I made a lot of friends. I learned how to format a book. Like that was when I started learning Scrivener and when I started learning InDesign and when I was streaming on Twitch my writing. And so I had a lot of other fiction writers who were doing the same. And so it was my learning experience
Mm.
doing all that. But that was also the time where I had several nervous breakdowns because I was doing too much. And I think we spoke about that last time. That's how I got into my 100-word stories or writing
Yeah, I
short
remember.
stories in general is because writing a novel was too much. So I will say right now, I am writing a murder mystery, but it will not be a novel. It's probably going to be like more like a novelette, like a beach read, like 30,000 words, less than that. I'm not looking to write some long crazy thing, which is great because most Agatha Christie novels aren't some,
No, they're
you
not.
know,
They're
they're
super short.
super short. And
Short. They're like 45,000 words.
right. And so I'm thinking to myself, this is great. This is like right in the pocket that I want to be. I don't want to write too much. And so that's my goal.
You think in the 20 years of reading and watching the best of thrillers that you've imbibed the necessary structure, like it's gone into your veins of the beats, just the classic beats.
Right.
Has it entered
And
your veins?
I, I hope they have.
Yeah.
Because now when I rewatch a lot. I will rewatch over and over again. I don't reread as much as I did, but I do rewatch a lot of things. And so now I watch it with the analytical eye. I watch it with the eye of, when did that clue get introduced? Like now that I
Yeah.
know it, now that I've seen it, now that I know who did it, now I can watch it for different reasons. I'm not watching it for who did it. I'm watching it for where the clues were planted, or now I'm reading something that I've watched. And I know a lot of the times the adaptation is very different from the Agatha Christie original intended version. So I have that now that I didn't have before when I was just watching all these things for the first time. Now that I'm revisiting everything, I can look at it from that point of view. But in case I need a little support because I always keep things at arm's reach. Like when I'm sitting at my desk, you can tell what is Erica working on because I keep it on my desk. So I do have the How to Write a Mystery written by Lee Childs, who
Okay.
better, right?
Who
And
better?
then, when you think about Agatha Christie and you think about the fact that she was a member of the original Detection Club, which God, if they bring me into the Detection Club, I think I would geek out immensely. But they
Oh
wrote
my
this
God.
called How Done It, which is basically
Great.
articles by everyone down to an Agatha Christie, like G.K. Chesterton, everyone. They have it's a masterclass in crime writing by members of the Detection Club, both living and dead. So I'm reading through this to get myself like some of the structure because I think I know the structure because you read it and you watch it and you assume, but it's just as important what's in the literature and what isn't is also just as important. So
Yeah.
knowing what not to put in, what to put in, knowing little things like where your story takes place, when it takes place. I'm thinking about things about my main character, what makes them quirky, interesting. I'm looking at all the TV shows that I watch with the detectives. Is it a detective who's retired? Is it a J.B. Fletcher who's a mystery writer and people just, you know, take her information because she knows a lot about writing mysteries? Like, who is my main character? What is their role in the world? Are they going to be set aside, or are they going to be Hercule Poirot and be like the best in the world, and so everyone comes to them? Like, I'm cooking and I'm baking and I'm putting all the recipe in there before I start. I'm being
Yeah.
extra foundational where I normally I would just do an outline and get going, but I feel like with a mystery, you can't just do that.
You can't.
You have to have who the killer is, what the clues are, who the suspects are, what is the murder, why were they murdered? Like these are things I need to know before I can even do the outline. Um, and so this is a whole new landscape for me that I'm excited to enter into, but I'm also extra excited to take my time because for the last
Mm.
1,000 days, I have been needing to be on for 1,000 days, right? I have needed to hit publish and post for 1,000 days, setting aside the other things that I would write and hit post on because that I wasn't just posting 100 word stories for 1,000 days. There were other things too. So it's nice that I can hit post whenever. Like I'm not married and handcuffed to Substack needing to be hitting post every day on something, releasing something every day. dance monkey dance every day for someone to
Right.
be like, okay, where's the post? Where's Erica's post today? Like it's so nice. Not at night. I read now when I go to bed. Like
Mm,
my book is at my bedside table and I pull that out, I have my little nightlight on, read a couple chapters, then I put my book aside. I'm reading a book, an Agatha Christie book, while
yeah.
simultaneously I am also listening to the Sophie Hannah new Hercule Poirot mysteries in audiobook. So I listen to the audiobook actually. That is the last thing I do. So I read, put the book aside, and then I get my audiobook out and I'm listening to that for about an hour and a half. And then I go to bed. And then, I'm watching David Suchet, Hercule Poirot on,
Mm,
on TV. So I'm literally
yeah.
like I'm engulfed in it. And I just have everything around me. Is for writing this mystery. And one of the things that, and I don't know if I'm happy with my decision, but the only thing I know right now about my main character is that she has an affinity for mythology. I don't know why. I leaned hard. And when I lean hard, I don't just say, "Oh, she has an affinity for mythology."
Mm.
No, I decided to go out and buy 10 books on mythology because
Yeah.
why not? So,
Right.
so this is one of the ones that I'm reading right now.
Yeah.
I have the Stephen Fry. I'm sure you're
Mhm.
familiar with who Stephen Fry is. He has a whole mythos Troy here. Like he's got the whole thing. I've got all of his books. They're too big for me to bring in. They're too heavy, but I have all of those.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to relate, or my idea is to relate each mystery to a mythology. So they have some sort of correlation where
Nice.
the murder, because it's like a cozy mystery Agatha Christie thing. So it's got to lean a little. I don't want to say cheesy, but it's got to have something. So I'm leaning towards mythology and trying to pick the right story to be the first myth that correlates to whatever the murder is, and then go from there and see if I can pull this off, because it's not like a fantasy or horror where all you have to pull off is you have wizards and magic. In a fantasy, in a horror, you have blood and gore and a monster, right? In a mystery, there's a bit more to it than that. You have to pull off tricking the reader, having a really compelling murder suspects, and then the denouement, the end, the gathering of the suspects, the explanation of how we got to the there's that's very important, and if you don't have that right, you don't have a really good murder mystery. And so I feel like there's a bit more stake in doing the right murder mystery, so
Yeah.
I'm excited for the challenge of it.
Have you read In a Lonely Place, Dorothy Sayers?
I have it somewhere on my
So,
shelf. I have not read it.
yeah, okay. So, what fascinated me about that was that it breaks the form of the normal murder mystery, like default, which is that we don't know who the killer is, right?
Right,
This one is told from the point of view of the killer, and we know it from the first page.
right.
And the trick that she pulls off is how incredibly tense it is. It's so clever and short. And I mean, I was chatting to another friend the other day who is normally a literary fiction writer, but she, for exactly the same reasons as you, is turning her hand to a thriller. And she just completely echoed practically word for word what you just said about with thrillers, you can't just rub all in there. You've got to you really have to know plan it way more out.
Right.
Fascinating to hear. I've
It
never
sounds
heard.
it sounds
Just
like the murder of Roger Ackroyd, which is one of the classic Agatha Christie's, but you don't realize, I mean, spoiler if no one's read or knows what the murder of Roger Ackroyd is, but the big spoiler is that the narrator is the murderer. So
okay, but you don't know
you don't
until
know that, right? You don't know that till the end, but
Mhm.
it's one of those books where people either loved her for doing that or hated her for doing that
Okay, because she broke the
because
form.
Because typically her narrator was always a friend and a good person
Yeah.
and someone you could trust. You were supposed to trust the
Yeah.
narrator, a
Yeah.
Watson, a Hastings. You trust them. They're telling you
Marple.
this, right? They're telling you the story of Hercule Poirot and how he solved this case. So for her to take the trust of the narrator and then turn around and say, and guess what? They were the killer. It was just like, what? No.
Yeah. I can imagine that for her loyal readers at the time, it felt like a total betrayal, which is
Right.
one of the things that mystery writers do kind of, they tend to gather about them a bit like Dylan before he went electric, like that kind of like loyalty which becomes a bit of a stranglehold, like they can't move out of
Right,
it.
right. Which was why she had to kill off Hercule Poirot in her
Yeah.
last book, was because she
Yeah.
hated him at the end. She couldn't stand
Yeah.
him. And she couldn't
Yeah.
understand why everyone loved him. And she said, well, guess what?
Yeah.
He
He's
dies in
dead.
this one.
Yeah.
So, which
We're
is why I
so
thought it was insane that her estate came out and asked Sophie Hannah, like, hey, would you
I
mind writing
know.
some more?
Or she'd be turning in her grave.
She
Jesus.
would.
So
She
look,
would.
we're nearly at time, but I just want to
Yeah,
ask you then, just to go back to, so there's last 500 or maybe 250 when it was just like, it was onerous and you were not happy and you were doing this thing. Was there something in that? Because I remember talking to you at the time and you were like, I think I said to you, why don't you just stop? And you were like, what the fuck, man? I'm not going to stop. Like there's something in
right.
you that's like, I commit, I'm going to do it. But was there something in that inadvertently drove you to a place where you were like, fuck this shit, I'm giving myself permission to do what I really want to do?
Yeah, it really was. I felt like I had put myself into a corner. And
Yeah.
a corner I couldn't get out of because I don't like to make proclamations that I'm not going to keep. And
Yeah.
for me personally, I would have been gutted if I had stopped at, 7:28
Yeah.
and just went to bed that night and said
Yeah.
screw it.
Yeah.
Even though I was growing to resent the whole thing, the whole journey, even though it was keeping me up at night, stressing me out every day, trying to find the right tarot deck to use, organizing the posts, creating the drafts. Like it was a stressor for almost the entire 1,000 days. I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
And I knew as certain people would say, why don't you go to 1,500? Why don't you go to 2,000? And I knew I knew if I had said, "You know what? Why not?"
Then you
Eleanor,
would have done it.
I
I
would've.
know. I'm so
And
glad you
it
did.
and it
I mean, for your heart.
and it wo it would've killed me. It really
Yeah.
would've.
Yeah. No.
And so
I know.
I immediately would ignore those comments. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna say that I'm not gonna do it. I'm just not seeing what you're saying to me because you don't understand what
No.
it's like till you do it, to do something like this. I will never do it again. I don't know what I'm gonna do with these 1,000 stories because I know that's what people are waiting to see. Am I gonna publish them? I don't know. I only did the first 400, and that also annoyed me, right? Putting together these 100 collections was just becoming a reminder to me of the shackles I had put myself in. And I said, I can't shackle myself any more than just writing the damn stories to now writing them and now spending time on InDesign, putting these books together to put like that I'm giving it too much. It is taking too much of my life. And now I
Yeah.
want it to take this much of my life. So I haven't thought about it. I haven't looked at it. I haven't engaged with it. Like it's one of those things where they say when you finish your work, step away, give it some breathing room, then come back to it later to start editing or whatever. This one might need 1,000 days for me to step away. Like I took 1,000 to do it. I might need 1,000 now to be like, I can't look at it right now. And I know that that might be crazy for people to hear me say because it was quite a feat. I mean, we're talking about 100,000 words. That's not anything to sneeze at. I wrote 100,000 words at 100-word increments for 1,000 days. that is a pretty big deal.
It's a
But
huge feat.
I would not recommend it. Um,
Mm.
and now I'm just going to enjoy the really tough task of writing 101 words. You know how hard that is for me to do? That's one of the reasons why I'm taking so long with just foundational work, because for the first time I'm giving myself permission to write
Mm.
102 words, to
Mm.
write
My God, that must be
348 words. You know what I mean?
one.
It's
I do
because
know, yeah.
I have gotten for they say what is the thing, like, how many hours to really get a habit?
10,000.
I can
Well,
I
10,000
can
hours,
write
like,
right, I can write a 100-word story within 2 plus or minus of 100 without a word count on,
wow.
because I'm so
Yeah, yeah.
attuned to
Yeah.
writing them that I can start writing and I know when to stop. And when I look at the word count, I'm literally either on the money or plus or minus 2 words from the 100. So for me now to retrain my brain to say, "It's okay. You can go past 100. We're not gonna edit this down. Keep going," is going to be hard. And so I know that I need to give myself the grace and the time and the confidence to know that I can. Because now I feel like back then, 20 years ago, I didn't think I could write a novel. Now I'm saying to myself, I don't think I can write past 100 words. Like, can I do it? Can I write more than 100 words and people read it? I don't know. Because up until now, for the last 1,000 days, that's all really people have been reading is 100 words from me. Now I'm asking them to read more. We'll see. It's gonna be a stressor for sure.
I believe in you 100%. Just gotta say that.
Well, thank you for,
It's okay.
inviting me. I love having our conversations.
I love
Um,
them.
they
It's
excite me.
just
They get me all
remarkable.
excited to go out there and come
Too.
up with 20 more ideas.
I know, I know. Yeah, you're just remarkable to me, and I so enjoy your company, just to be in that firecracker company. And I'm sure I really hear you when you say, like, in your brain, yeah, there's a vice and a virtue to it, like there's a plus and a minus. I get that. But for us who get to be around this, you is so remarkable. I'm just like, I'm always in the kind of like, wow, you know. And I just as well, I want to say, like, the stamina, then I know this as well when I've serialized or I'm editing a novel now, or what it takes to write a novel or do the 100 words for 1,000 days. The stamina is invisible to
Right.
those who don't do it. They haven't, how could they? But it is invisible because to the outside world, we're just sitting at a desk typing words. You know, what's so difficult about it? But I know the stamina it takes to not only to see it through, like to actually see it through to its end takes the most phenomenal stamina, and to do it with such a clear moral compass as well. Like, you know, you're not you're not taking the piss out of us, your readers. You care, and that is so clear. It's so clear when I'm with you. It's so clear on the page, you know. And I respect that and I admire it.
Thank you.
And
Oh,
I'm thrilled that you're gonna write a novel.
I
Super,
am.
well, novella,
I
novella,
am. And about
novella
right, I
better,
am.
but a mystery. I'm thrilled you're
And
writing.
hopefully, yeah, and hopefully this year it will be from start to finish, I will have it ready to go. I'm gonna lean towards like a Ben Wakeman, and then I am going to start writing it first before I'm not
Okay.
gonna write and publish. I want to have more than half of it written
Oh, yeah, yeah,
before I
definitely
start
do that.
putting it out pushing it out,
Yeah,
if not
yeah,
all of
yeah,
it, just so that I can make sure I know what the hell I'm doing. I might wanna have all of it done
yeah.
before I push it out just because it is a mystery
I
and I
would.
wanna make sure it's right. The
Yeah,
clues are right, the suspect like, all of that is right. Um,
yeah,
and I may reach out to some people and ask them if they wouldn't mind reading it before
yeah,
I make it public and stuff like that. Um
yeah.
but yeah, so I did just to kind of plug a few things for myself, if you don't mind, before we go. Is just
Yeah, yeah, go right ahead. Yeah, yeah.
and I also want to say before we go as well, I am sorry you were not able to do the TIFF summit. It was
I'm s
crazy. It was crazy though, because
Really sorry.
you ended up interviewing the person who took your spot for
Oh,
the TIFF Summit,
yes.
which was Essie Reed, which I was like, what are the odds?
I know. Because I didn't know that until she put a post and she said, "Yeah, I'm opening the summit on whatever date, whatever time." I was like, "Oh my God." And we'd already arranged to talk. And I was like, "Okay, that's, I hope there's some sort of circle." I felt super bad, Erica, but
It
I'm
was
so
it
sorry.
well,
I mean, I'm completely desperate.
it
That's
worked
all I can
out
say.
because
I couldn't
I
coach.
wanted
I couldn't.
I wanted her to do it, and I said it was only fitting because I said if Eleanor is not gonna do it, I needed someone as big as Eleanor to kick off the TIFF Summit, because you, to me, are a very big deal. There are several people on my Mount Rushmore of Substack who I admire, who I look up to, and you are definitely one of those people. And so when I couldn't have you, I said, "Okay, I'm gonna ask Sally if she would take that spot because I don't know anyone else that I would trust, especially because again at the time I was sick, and I think actually on that day I couldn't even open the thing because I think I was at, the doctor's office with Dax because he had to have his eyes checked. The doctors had us pull him from school and take him as an emergency. So I was watching her reading on my phone because I just was not even home. And so I was just so thrilled that she was able to do it. And I hope that you're able to come, next year, formal invitation. I'm doing it on here to say we are doing it again next year. And I hope that you will be able to have the time to join us for that. But I did want to bring up that we are going to be for TIFF Press publishing our first anthology in the coming months. There will then be a second anthology, Inanimate Objects, coming in the fall of this year, which will be our second one. And the other thing for me personally is talking of my tarot decks in about 2 weeks, because I'm expecting another. I get them in the mail all the time because I go broke on Kickstarter with tarot decks. A lot of them came from Kickstarter. I just got word that one that I've been waiting on is shipped from China. It's gonna take about 2 weeks. When that arrives, I'm going to do a full walkthrough of my deck. Again, I haven't done it in about a year or 2, so I'm going to pull them all down off
Wow.
the shelf from behind me, and I'm gonna show them all off one by one. So 40 plus decks you're gonna get to see, and I will, hopefully be able to organize it in such a way where I'll have links if you can purchase them, tell you how I got them, how I use them, how you can use them, etc., which ones are my favorites, unique, all of that stuff. So in 2 weeks, I'm waiting to see when it says that it will be delivered before I can say this is the day I'm going to do it. But sometime in the next 7 to 14 days, I'm going to do a full Substack Live tarot deck thing. Um, I think that's all I have planned for right now. And I am doing, if anyone's interested, the Agatha Christie Live, Read Christie 2026. So, which they do every year. It's her estate where they pull out 12 books of hers to read in the calendar year. Last month was A Body in the Library. This month is Mrs. McGinty's Dead. Next month, I've already said it multiple times, is Murder on the Orient Express. But if you go on my Substack, you'll see Read Christie 2026 is one of the items there. You could click on it. You could see what the books are each month. I am reading the book week to week. The final week, I watch any adaptations that have been done of the book. And then I go live with Rita Roundtree, who does uh, uh, Murder in the Inbox, Only Murders in the Inbox, or something
Mm.
like that. I'm saying the name wrong now.
Good.
But we go live and we talk about the book. So if
Fantastic.
you're interested in Agatha Christie and murder mysteries, then you can join me every month. I think this month is February 27th, I think is when we're going live. So yeah, I think that's it. That's all that I'm
Fantastic. And
currently working on.
everyone can subscribe to you, Erica Drayton,
Right,
and they can upgrade to become paying subscribers, which means that by default they'll be investing in you and all the artists and all the
right.
writers that you support, which is it's like
Right.
you're a gateway to supporting like 1 million people. So
Right. And I will say that my my 100-word stories, by the end of this month, only 15 of them will be free to read. Okay, so
Okay.
of the 1,000, only the first 10 and the final 5 will be available for anyone to read for free, but stories 11 to 995 are behind the paywall. So if you want access to be able to read all 1,000, the only way to get that is to be a paid subscriber. I am slowly but surely working my way towards putting the last like 250 basically behind a paywall. But I wanted to have some of them available so people could start the journey or see how the journey ended. So I decided to keep the first 10 and the final 5 are available for anyone to read. But yeah, so I'm trying to be good about putting things behind a paywall. I got that from you, Eleanor, because I know there's this big push of like, what do you put behind the paywall? Should we be putting everything out for free? So it's another discussion you and I can have for another day on how that works.
Yeah.
Right. But I am being more cognizant of my work, my worth, and what I should put out just for free and what I feel should be put behind a paywall for many reasons beyond just the fact that it is my life's work and it is worth something. And everyone
Yeah.
should feel that way. And everyone should think about it and not be ashamed or terrified or fearful of doing so. It is okay to have some of your work available for people to read so they know how you write. But it is also okay to put the majority of your work behind a paywall because you did work on it. It did take you a long time. It is important. So
Yeah.
let that be the last thing I say.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole paywall thing. I'd love to get in. Next time we speak, let's get down into the weeds of that because
Right.
that's a huge thing, and people ask me about it all the time. And obviously, I change my mind. I'm constantly like,
Constantly. I'm constantly second guessing myself. But once you do it, you just do it and then move on to the next thing. Like you just sometimes you just have to just do it. Just rip the Band-Aid off, just do it and don't think about it.
Don't think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
All right.
Great to see you. Loads of love. I hope you get better soon. Hope you feel better soon.
Thank you.
The cycle. You get a break in the cycle.
Right. Right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.